When you finally show some discipline and say no to the madness, is this the moment Brian Cashman actually proves he can play poker against Scott Boras? You know what's refreshing? After weeks of watching the market go absolutely insane, Kyle Tucker getting $60 million a year, Bo Bichette getting $42 million a year, the entire baseball world losing its collective mind, the New York Yankees finally took a step back and said, "We're not doing this." Monday, January 20th, 2026. Brendan Cuddy from The Athletic reports that Brian Cashman has put a hard number on the table for Cody Bellinger. 5 years, $160 million, with strategic opt-outs. That's $32 million per year. And then Cashman essentially said, "That's our offer. Take it or leave it. We're not getting into a bidding war." This is discipline. This is what smart general managers do when the market gets out of control. And I have to say, after watching Cashman panic and scramble for the past few weeks, this feels like a breath of fresh air. Let me break down what's actually happening here, because the math tells an interesting story. Kyle Tucker is making $60 million a year. Bo Bichette is making $42 million a year. Cody Bellinger wants 7 years and presumably wants to be in that $40+ million per year range. The market has gone absolutely insane. Teams are throwing money at players like they're trying to get rid of it. And the Yankees said, no. Instead, they offered Bellinger $32 million per year on a 5-year deal with opt-outs after year 2 and year 3. That's the middle ground. It's not cheap. $160 million is still a massive contract, but it's disciplined. It's saying, we value you, we want you, but we're not going to lose our minds in the process. And here's what makes this offer actually smart: the opt-outs. If Bellinger accepts this deal, he gets security for 2 years, and then he has the flexibility to opt out and hit free agency again at age 32 or 33. That's attractive for a player because it gives him optionality. If he stays healthy and productive, he could walk away and get another massive contract. If he declines, he's locked in at $32 million per year, which is still excellent money. For the Yankees, the opt-outs are crucial because they limit the long-term risk. You're not locked into 7 years of Bellinger if his production drops or injuries pile up. You get 2 years of commitment, and then you can reassess. That's smart risk management. But here's the problem. The Mets are still lurking. And the Mets don't play by the same rules as the Yankees. Steve Cohen has unlimited money and a willingness to spend it. The report confirms that the Mets continue to have interest in Bellinger, but would prefer him on a short-term deal. If the Mets offer Bellinger the Bichette treatment, 3 years, $120 million, that's $40 million per year. That's $8 million more per year than what the Yankees are offering. And here's where Scott Boras comes in. Boras is one of the most aggressive agents in baseball. He's going to use every bit of leverage he can find. He's going to tell Bellinger, the Mets are interested. The Giants might be interested. The Reds might be interested. The Angels might be interested. He's going to create the perception of a bidding war, even if the actual interest is limited. But according to the reports, the interest from those other teams is sparse. It's not like there's a line of teams ready to throw $40+ million per year at Bellinger. It's really just the Yankees and the Mets. And if the Mets don't want to go to 7 years and the Yankees won't go above $32 million per year, then Bellinger's options are limited. This is a poker game. This is Cashman calling Boras' bluff. And based on the report, Cashman seems confident that he's holding the better hand. But what if he's wrong? What if Scott Boras manages to convince the Mets to go to $40 million per year on a shorter deal? What if Bellinger decides that the extra $8 million per year is worth playing in Queens instead of the Bronx? Then the Yankees lose Bellinger, and they're back to square one with the outfield. That's where Freddie Peralta comes in. And this is where Cashman's strategy becomes really interesting. The report confirms that if Bellinger walks, the Yankees are pivoting their attention back to the trade market and maintaining heavy interest in Milwaukee Brewers starter Freddie Peralta. Think about what that means. If Bellinger says no and signs with the Mets or someone else, the Yankees still have the financial flexibility to go after Peralta. They don't have to choose between Bellinger and Peralta. They can have both if Bellinger signs. But if Bellinger walks, they can redirect that money and those prospects toward landing an ace. This is actually a brilliant contingency plan. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're saying, we want Bellinger, but if you don't take our offer, we're going to use that money and those prospects to land Freddie Peralta instead. You're giving yourself options. You're not desperate. You're disciplined. And here's what should terrify the Mets. If they spend $40 million per year on Bellinger, and the Yankees use that money to land Freddie Peralta, the Yankees' rotation becomes elite. Max Fried, Freddie Peralta, and then Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon when they return from injury. That's a championship rotation. Meanwhile, the Mets would have added Bellinger to an outfield that already has Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor, and they still wouldn't have solved their pitching problems. From a strategic standpoint, the Yankees have put themselves in a position where they win either way. If Bellinger takes the deal, great. You've got an elite outfielder at a reasonable price with flexibility built in. If he doesn't, you pivot to Peralta and solve the rotation problem instead. Either way, you're improving the roster. And that's the difference between a GM who's panicking and a GM who's thinking strategically. For the past few weeks, it felt like Cashman was scrambling, making desperate moves, trading prospects for injury-prone pitchers, considering trading Jason Dominguez. But this Bellinger offer suggests he's actually had a plan all along. He's been willing to let the market play out while he stays disciplined. Less than a month until spring training. The clock is ticking. Boras is going to keep pushing. Keep trying to create urgency. Keep suggesting that other teams are interested. But if the Yankees hold firm at $32 million per year, and the Mets won't go higher than $40 million per year on a short deal, Bellinger's options are limited. He either takes the Yankees' offer or he gambles on finding a better deal that might not materialize. This is poker. This is what happens when you have a strong hand and you're willing to let the other guy make the decision. Cashman has shown his cards. He's offered $160 million over 5 years with opt-outs. Now it's Bellinger and Boras' turn to decide whether that's good enough or if they want to keep looking. And if they keep looking and find nothing better, if the Mets don't come through with an offer, if the Giants, Reds, and Angels all pass, then Bellinger is going to have to come back to the Yankees and accept that $32 million per year. And Cashman will have won the negotiation through discipline and patience. That's the kind of move that defines a general manager, not the desperate trades or the panic signings, but the ability to stay calm, make a reasonable offer, and let the market come to you based on your memories. You've been cautious about the Yankees making reckless moves, preferring smart, calculated decisions over desperate ones. This Bellinger offer is exactly that kind of move. What do you think? Should the Yankees hold firm at $160 million over 5 years with opt-outs, or should they be willing to go higher if the Mets start bidding? And more importantly, if Bellinger walks, are you comfortable with the Yankees pivoting to Freddie Peralta and solving the rotation instead? Drop your thoughts and comment below, and smash that like button if you respect Brian Cashman for finally showing some discipline and not getting caught up in the market madness. Because right now, it feels like the Yankees have actually put themselves in position to win, no matter what Cody Bellinger decides.